So as a wee lad growing up in New York City, I had the good fortune of a mentor or two coming into my life. And as part of that was blessed, I really know the way to put this, with pragmatic and timely advice. Everything ranging from how to balance a checkbook, approach to life, even what do you do when women do crazy things. That last one I still do not have an answer on. But when I was going from high school to my university years, I got some curious advice I did not understand because it was either economics or fashion, still figuring it out. But it was this: never buy a cheap suit or a cheap pair of shoes. Now, when I was a broke-ass college student, I indeed bought cheap-ass everything. But when I moved into my professional years, I realized, well, you spend a lot more money because you replace cheap-ass everything a lot more, hence the more in the long run. Well, this is kind of the lesson, same thing, in that it's not the cheapest 911 on offer. Not that there's cheap crap in the 911 world, but there's been some investments made here that will pay off in longevity for car guys and gals like us. So today, I think you and I need to determine what those investments were. Since 2012, I have desperately wanted to show you the bare naked engine of a 991.1 or the flat 6 3-liter twin turbo in a 991.2, but that's not possible. And today I decided I'd bring a stand in so we could actually see a naked engine. And lucky for us, because I don't have a lot to tell you about the engine here, because it's the same that's in the base Carrera, which is the 370 horse and 331 pounds of torque. And I want to point something out. That comes in at 1,700 RPM. That's quite an achievement for a flat 6. Now, being that there's no difference in the engine, are there differences somewhere else in the Carrera T? Well, it turns out there is. It's in the transmission. Mainly it's the final drive ratio. And it's not so much what the numbers are, but what they do. It lowers the 0 to 60 time by 1/10 of a second, and it increases the top speed to 182 miles an hour. So now that we've covered all that, have I showed you the naked engine here? Specifically, the lovely aftermarket cold air intake. So the theme of just a wee bit change here and there continues on the inside. The thing you notice the most are the seats. These are the sports seats that are optional on the Carrera, but they're not that $5,200 seat we drove in the quick drive review, which came out of the 918. These are, I gotta say, it's a very cool, like half leather, half like old school netting kind of text. I actually like it quite a bit. 4-way power adjustments, but like old school. There's a lever, you move the seat forward. I mean, really old school, like that a lot. Then also fitted as standard is the small diameter steering wheel. Then there is less sound insulation inside the car, which for a Lotus guy, I have no problem with that. Then the shifter's kind of interesting in that the trim on the inside of the shifter pattern is a red to kind of, I guess, reinforce just a wee bit of difference throughout here and there. And then last, but certainly not least, my favorite old school kind of thing like this, fabric door pulls. Yes, it was an incredibly long time ago that you and I did the tech review of the then new 991.2 Carrera and Carrera S up in these stunning California redwoods. And everything still very much applies here because this, even with or without a T, is still a Carrera, base one at that. However, there are some changes in the driving dynamics department that, I don't want to say it's new stuff, it's things that were normally on the options list for a Carrera fitted standard is here. The thing you notice the most are the wheels. Yes, they look great in that gray. However, those are indeed the same Carrera S 20-inch wheels. Rubber up front is 245/35s. Rubber in the back 305/30s. Then I'd say the biggest changes are the sport suspension. That's fitted as standard, lowers the car 10 mils. PASM adjustable dampers fitted as standard. Sport exhaust fitted as standard. But then something that is not necessarily on a regular Carrera or a Carrera S, and that is an old school, like on your father's or grandfather's Oldsmobile, Buick, Pontiac, a mechanical differential. That is something we're going to spend some time focusing on the full first drive review. I will tell you that this car here, serial ending 245, this one has two options fitted to it, and that is four-wheel steering as well as carbon ceramic rotors. By now, you should be seeing a theme. It's such a big deal that I tell you a story about it in the coming full first drive review, something Kumo is calling just enough, but not too much. Now, I've told you about a lot of things throughout this tech review that come from either an option list of other 911s or the standard equipment list of a Carrera S. However, there's one thing I haven't told you about that doesn't come from either, but it does come from another 911, and it is the granddaddy of all 911s, and that is the GT2 RS. It would be the lightweight glass here. So this, combined with the fabric door pulls, some of the changes to the transmission, obviously suspension stuff, all of this adds up to a total weight reduction of 11 pounds, making this the lightest Carrera on offer at 3,142 pounds. That definitely has an impact on our time driving it in the full first drive review, so make sure you come back for that. In the interim, I need to turn this around to you and leave you with a question, and it's about a topic that I never like talking about with you, and that's money. This is a special edition 911, but not in the ilk of like a GT car, where you have to get in line after having bought like 10 other Porsches, and then maybe or maybe not you'll pay a huge amount over sticker if you're lucky enough to get one. This is a special edition that like everybody can have. It's priced accordingly. It's $11,000 more than a basic Carrera, $3,000 less than a Carrera S. So my question to you is this: would you go for it at that price? Or would you pay the extra $3 grand and get the more horsepower in the Carrera S? And for the avoidance of doubt, what is it? It's 420 horsepower and 368 torque. So it's quite a bit different from this one here, but you lose a little bit of the just enough, but not too much. So which one would you choose? Why would you choose it? And most importantly, do you drive a 911, and if so, which one? Let me know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV all one word, MotoManTV all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, Kumo and I are presented with a difficult choice of, do we drive this one or do we drive that one? Till I see you next time. Bis später.